Hey everybody, Matt here. Today is a quick review of this new holster I got from ANR Design for my H&K VP9CC. I've never ordered a holster from ANR Design before, so I thought I'd make this quick review video giving you my initial thoughts on the holster itself as well as the ordering process and what that was like. Inside the bubble mailer was a packing slip, a cool sticker, and then an adapter for the claw to make it protrude a little bit more than the one that came installed, so you get a little more angle of attack there behind your belt if you need it. As you can tell, the holster did come with a standard plastic 1.5 inch clip. You do have different options for different clips. I find that these plastic ones work just fine for me, and I did get an optional claw. It does have an open area here towards the muzzle. It is not fully enclosed, and it does not protrude more than probably about 1/4 inch. The bottom of the holster does wrap around the bottom of the grip frame, and it fully protects the paddle releases from being engaged by accident. That's close enough to a full sweat shield for me. It's just shy about 1/2 inch or so. One thing about the claw that I did notice is that depending on how tight you have those screws for retention, it does wobble back and forth just a little bit. Not too much to worry me though. I have received holsters from other companies where that was just way too much wiggle room, which would create a possible safety issue once it's mounted behind your belt. And if you notice on my holster, there is 0 wiggle on the claw, and that's because on the other side of the screw heads, I attach pass-through posts which lock those in place, and then the retention is adjusted on the backside with those slotted posts. Now just dry fitting it here out in the open, it seems to snap in place. However, if you ever see the videos of people that hold their firearm upside down and shake it to see if it comes out or not, ignore those people. That's ridiculous, because the second you put this behind a belt, it's going to add additional retention. That's where you're going to need to test your retention screws, is once it's behind a belt, not when it's up in the air wiggling around like this. That shows you absolutely nothing at all. And if you really want to geek out, let me point out to you, after having fit this in the holster several times now, it may be a little bit hard to pick up on the camera, but you're going to see a shiny spot right here on the trigger guard, and then flip it over and you're going to notice another shiny spot right here on the trigger guard that indicates the main retention points of this holster. Now, because I am a holster maker myself and I'm pretty particular about my holsters, especially due to the price of them, I'm probably the only person you're ever going to meet that does this test. And if it's something that you're concerned about, maybe think about doing it. If not, and you don't care, that is completely fine as well. When I get a new holster, I wrap the frame in painter's tape. And then what I do is I insert the pistol into the holster and take it out at least 100 times. What this is going to do is this is going to show you additional wear points on your firearm and if there should be a concern of yours or not. Believe it or not, I have received a holster from a different company. The very first time I inserted the pistol into the holster, the serrations on the slide literally took off material from inside the Kydex holster. It was way too tight and I had to send it back and have them fix it. There are typically 2 schools of thought. Number one, I don't care about holster wear because it's going to happen. Or the second camp, I do care and I don't want it to happen, and I want to make sure my holster is of adequate fit so that it doesn't happen. And this test is going to tell you where the wear points are and if it's something that you should be concerned about. Obviously, your mileage is going to vary greatly depending on the actual firearm and the coating and how well that is. This is an H&K, so I'm very comfortable with their coatings on their slides. And once I've done this about 500 times, I'm going to do it while it's behind the belt, because remember, I told you, you're not going to really know how it performs until it is behind the belt. I personally use a Hunter Constantine belt currently. That's my go-to for now. After replicating holster draw about 800 times, here are the results. You can tell on the tape that there is a little bit of wear right here at the front of the slide on the left side. A good amount on the serrations on the right side. Some wear on the top of the grip frame, at the bottom of the grip frame on the Picatinny rail. A little bit around the slide release, and also same thing on the other side, the bottom Picatinny rail of the grip frame, and somewhere on the slide release here, and then as well as the takedown lever here, just a little bit, not a whole lot. H&K does offer a different grip module that does not have a pick rail at the bottom. So if you buy that, then that obviously won't be an issue because that'll be rounded smooth. One thing I did forget to point out earlier is that there is only one mounting position for the clip. You don't get a second option like what I offer on mine, where it is slightly adjustable. And then another thing is that you'll notice on the left side here that they didn't leave a gap, and that is kind of why we're seeing some rubbing here on the left side of the controls. If you notice on mine, I actually create an additional gap right here to avoid any unnecessary wear on the firearm. But again, you know, these are like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 pistols, and this one's $800-900. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons. Next, let's take it inside, because I'm going to show you the ordering process on their website and give you my initial pros and cons of the entire process and what I think thus far. All right, once you're on their website, you can go over to this top menu here, the drop down, choose IWB holsters, and there's a couple different models you can choose from. Mine was just the standard. So click build yours, right-handed, manufacturer, H&K, the best manufacturer, and you'll notice they have the VP9CC on their list. So non-light bearing is what I chose, black, because I'm not a heathen. Mounting, I did the 1.5-inch injection molded clip. You can choose DCC if you like the metal. Concealment claw, I did yes. $12 extra. They're free with my holsters. You can add a lifetime warranty. Magazine carrier, no. Optional add-on firearm maintenance. No, I don't need any of that. You can rush it 5 to 7 days or 3 to 5 weeks standard lead time. So this rush option was not available when I purchased mine, and I ended up waiting 3 weeks to get it. From the day I ordered it to the day it arrived was 3 weeks. That does include weekends, which they don't work, however, so keep that in mind. And you can flip between the front and the rear view of what you have designed. If you take off the claw, it'll remove it from the graphic. If you choose a different clip, it'll change that on the graphic, so it's interactive, which is pretty cool. Click on Add to Cart. It's going to give you a quick rundown of what you just ordered, subtotal. Calculate shipping. Standard shipping, $9.50. UPS, $15. Standard USPS shipping, Ground Advantage, they're charging $9.50. Their cost is about $6 for this. I know because I looked it up, because we use the same shipping company for processing labels. And, you know, that's not too bad. There are some companies that are way worse, which is why I didn't go with them. I'm not going to name any names, but some companies out there pad it like 3 times the amount and want to charge $20 just for priority shipping, when in reality it probably costs them closer to $8. That's a no for me. but again, you decide for yourself. So if I had any, I don't want to say negatives about this experience, but just something to point out is they do pad their shipping a little bit. And actually, I just noticed they charged me $11 for shipping. What's up with that? So overall, I would say that the ordering process was super easy. I didn't have any issues with it. The turnaround time could definitely use some work on. 3 weeks is just insane, especially since some companies send them out the door like the next day. But I do know they're swamped. So I guess that's a good thing that they have business like that, but it might mean that they need to start hiring more people. Speaking of which, if you are near them in New Hampshire, I believe they are hiring assemblers and shippers. So if that is something you're interested in, check it out. I do have a lot more testing to do with it, however, before I can say that I'm completely comfortable with it. But first initial reaction is that I'm happy with the fitment, the ordering process. The padded shipping and the turnaround time are the two, if I'm being completely honest, and this wouldn't be an honest review unless I had a couple nitpicks, okay? Not deal breakers, otherwise I wouldn't even place the order, but it definitely would have been the turnaround time and the padded shipping. So again, this was my first order with ANR Design holsters. Check them out if you want to. They're not sponsoring me or paying me. They don't even know I'm doing this. I just figured, hey, I'll throw this out there because the H&K VP9CC is a newer pistol. I have a lot more testing to do, however, out there on the range. So if you like what you see, check them out. If you made it to the end, I do appreciate you watching. I gotta go. Bye.